Hello everybody and welcome back to the Silicon Nubian YouTube channel where we're all about things tech. It's been a while, but I'm back and kicking the tires of yet another Linux distribution which has caught my eye for quite a while. This is Sparky Linux. We're taking a look at version 5.5. A little background, Sparky Linux is a Debian-based distribution and they maintain multiple branches and editions. This is a snapshot of the rolling release version, this being version 5.5. And it includes updates from Debian's testing branch. The majority of Debian-based distributions that I have seen usually come from the stable branch, but Sparky Linux is using the testing branch. I can go on and on about stability of packages in testing versus stable branch, but that's outside the scope of this video. And honestly, I never really had a lot of trouble with anything based on the testing branch. So let's continue with that. Included in this release are Timeshift, which is a great tool for making OS snapshots. File system support, improved file system support for BTRFS, XFS, and others. Of course, system updates come from the testing repository. Linux kernel 4.17 is the default. We're going to check what we're actually running, although they do give you the option to roll back to 4.16. Of course, there's a nice installer, which I haven't shown in this video, and there's a few other things. So let's get started. Here we have the desktop, and as usual, how I work with these distribution reviews is I have installed the distribution, it is running in a virtual environment, and I have performed all the updates up until the moment I actually record this. So let's get started and take a look. So look around. This is the desktop post installation, very simple. Left clicking will give you nothing, right clicking will give you the typical pop-up dialog box. We'll go into that later. Let's go to the bottom right. Here we have the calendar. Left clicking or right clicking gives you the same calendar. Here we have the speakers, the sound level. Left clicking will give you volume, which you can mute right away, of course. You can go into the mixer, the dialog box for the mixer. Very typical of modern Linux distributions, quite easy to work with. And of course, you go to the networking. I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit. Left clicking will give you the connections you have. You can disconnect, you can create VPN if you want. Right clicking will give you, you can edit the connections, you can get connection information, which we see right here. Wire connection 1 default, and it shows you all your necessary information, at least a little bit of it. We can also go into edit connections where we'll pull up again the dialog box for configuration of your chosen network connection, and there we are, all the settings in here that we would ever need, at least the vast majority of people would ever need. I failed to mention that Sparky Linux is a lightweight distribution running the LXDE or LXQT desktop and will run great on older hardware. And that's one of their claims to fame, and I don't doubt it. So there we go. Here's the, as we can see, we're running in a virtual. If we right click or left click on the toolbar, we really don't get anything. Here we can switch. We have one desktop. We can configure that differently, of course, to add multiple desktops. Let's skip that for now. Okay, LX terminal comes up, so let's take a look at the kernel. Remember, I did do an update. So we're running 4.17.0-1 AMD64 SMP, SMP Debian 4.17-8-1. So quite reasonable in terms of modern kernels. Shouldn't have a real problem right there at all. For those who are interested in that kind of stuff, and a lot of you are, here we have the file manager. And what are we running? Of course, Thunar 1.6.15, very capable. I like how Thunar is very simple, yet it's quite powerful in what it can do, which is great. And here we have the settings. I'll get to that in a minute. Here we can have the search. We can run any command from this dialog box. We can run it as root, run in terminal emulator, A nice thing to have if you want to dig deeper into the system and there's certain tasks that you need to perform and you prefer to perform it in a CLI environment. Okay, let's go to the application menu. Reminds me a little bit of GNOME. It just pops up everything here. These are all your apps. We have Synaptic Package Manager, which is the package manager of choice for Debian-based distributions. We have the Otter browser. Otter, very nice. So let's start at the top. We have About Sparky Linux. Tells us all the stuff we need to know, what version, date and time, my time zone, and uptime and whatnot. Stuff that you might be interested in once or twice. Not really familiar. Authenticate and replace Sparky apt us. Oh, okay. Remember, folks, I'm seeing this as you're seeing this. So this is all just to configure and manipulate the packages, which are programs if you're coming from the Windows world, applications on your Linux distribution. So we have edit custom repositories, edit main, fix broken packages, install, reinstall dead packages, anything to do with package installation, uninstallation, or maintenance is in here. It's good that it's all located in one spot. Remove old packages, non-free packages if you want to make this completely free package OS. Remove package from system, particular packages, remove unnecessary, safely upgrade the system, and upgrade the system. I guess the difference here is that when you come to safely upgrade to certain packages, for example, like a kernel that may not be upgraded or might be, I've seen this in Linux Mint and the Ubuntu-based distributions where it rates the packages by quote unquote, how critical they are, and in turn, consequently, critical means you could actually damage your system or the stability of it. So it's good to have both of them there. And here we have refresh package list. So that's everything to do with packages. I really like this. I like this a lot. Bleach bit. Again with packages, debscan, backup files. A lot of stuff in here, not necessarily user-friendly in terms of new users, but then again, Sparky Linux never said it was. Bulk rename, Debbie tool package installer if you want to install packages. Once again, this is overlap because we can find this in apt-us or apt-us. File manager. Interesting, it appears twice. Oh, dash files for installation. Quick install files, Excel mail reader, Excel. So let's just try one of these. You know what? It's outside the scope of what I'm looking at right now, but really interesting. Again, I'm kicking the tires and looking at this as you see it. So this is interesting for me as well. I haven't had any time with this other than what I'm showing you right now, and of course updating it. File manager preferences. We have a firewall configurator. There we go. GUFW, Guffy, firewall configurator. Pretty simple, but quite powerful. Gexec, of course, we saw it before. We have a screenshot taker, I guess. Icon browser, image magic, of course. Image viewer, keyboard, leaf pad, logout, terminal, mail reader. Okay, you have to choose your preferred mail reader. We haven't had one installed. Interesting. Monitor settings. Very simple. Dialog box. Network connections. Nitrogen. Browse and set desktop backgrounds. Interesting. So Nitrogen. Let me see something. So it's done in real time. If you've seen my other videos, you know I'm a very big fan of real time. So, okay, let's keep that there. I like it. There you go. Very nice. I'm a guy who likes a lot of different desktop backgrounds. I like one. I keep it for quite a while, but I do browse them quite a bit. OpenBox, of course, that's the window manager that Sparky Linux does use. So we have Configuration Manager for OpenBox. There we go. You can configure a lot of ways of how it looks and how it presents itself to you. Otter browser. Interesting. It's in. Oh, I wonder if it's based. Someone in the comment section can tell me, is this based on Opera? DuckDuckGo. The symbol would make you think so. About Otter, web browser controlled by the user, not vice versa. Otterbrowser.org. I'm not familiar. It uses WebKit as a backend. I'm really not familiar with the Otter browser. Otter. Okay. Doesn't really tell you that much on the page. Let's try something. Seems pretty fast. Everything works good. Yes, I am in Canada. Okay. So that's the Otter browser. And we have a Mixer app. Now, what I like is when I check these apps, oh, it pops up here. Interesting. Okay. Preferred applications, this is always good. You know, if your internet, it'll tell you what preferred web browser, Debian Sensible browser. Okay, I guess as you add browsers, you can choose them. Mail reader, what's your preferred mail reader? Utilities, file manager, terminal emulator. Okay, that's pretty good. Print settings, this must be the typical print dialog box, and yes, it is. Pulse audio volume, removable drive, screensaver, synaptic package manager. Don't have to show you that. You've seen that a million times. Sysadmin, manage system D units. Oh, pretty cool. Active state, running state of system D. Very good. We have system upgrade, a simple upgrade with task manager. And let's take a look at what we have here. We do have some stuff open, and we've opened and closed quite a few applications, so I don't expect this to be indicative of a normal running. But what we see here, CPU usage is quite low. Even with this window open and everything that we've been doing, mind you, we don't have a lot of apps open. We're using 360 megabytes, of 4 gig or 3948 megabytes used. So it's quite svelte, quite lean. Okay. So you can get by probably with 2 gigs of RAM on the system if you're not going to push it too hard. But as with all distributions and operating systems, I would start at 4. Here we have time shift. This is a big thing now, where you can use rsync or BTRFS or whatever, select your snapshot type, and creating copies of the system files using rsync and hard linking up change files previous snapshot. All files are copied when the first snapshot is created. Subsequent snapshots are incremental. Unchanged files would be hard linked from the previous snapshot if available. Snapshots can be saved to any disk formatted with a Linux file system. Saving snapshots to non-system or internal disk allows the system to be restored even if system disk is damaged or reformatted. Files and directories can be excluded to save disk space. Now, BTRFS, that's different. Built-in features of BTRFS file system and whatnot, but pretty good to have. I like that. So you can create snapshots. It'll tell you what's available. Of course, that's available on a virtual file system, but if I plugged in an external, or I'm hoping I can link this to my NAS box, if it's network aware, I can always create snapshots. And what I'm seeing here is you can schedule them. Monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, at boot, keep 5, keep 10. This is interesting. I like that. I like it a lot. I will be using this, definitely. I'm going to install this on my home system, which uses Manjaro. Tint 2, it's a lightweight panel. Tint 2 settings, Xterm, Vim. A lot of people's favorite text file editor. VirtualBox, I've installed that. Now we have another web browser. Same one, Otter. Otter is the browser, the default browser. Xarchiver and Xterm. So those are the apps that are built in. Now if you right click, we still get the same thing, but now we're categorized. So bulk rename, everything we've seen before. LeafPad, if I didn't mention, which is a pretty decent text editor as well. GUI. So everything is categorized here. So as with most Linux distributions, there's overlap. There's many ways, many roads to reach the same destination. So let's continue. We have lock, exit. We have OpenBox settings, restart OpenBox, OpenBox menu generator, and of course we have the panel. It's all text files, of course. So let's continue. Sparky inside, interesting. I have multiple of these open, which I didn't want to, but here we go. I only need one. Easy to do. And let me see now how versatile this desktop is. Right-clicking will not give me anything from inside the program menu. If I right-click here, it'll just start it. Now, if I right-click, there's no dragging to the desktop. At least in this, I'm sure there's a lot of configuration that can be done to allow different things. As well, being Linux and being Debian-based, you can install pretty much any GUI interface that you want. I'll spend a little time here, kick the tires a little bit. So at the end of the day, what do I think of this? Let me think. I like it. I like it. Okay, let's go check a YouTube video. And right off the bat, it's working.
Wise beyond
With
his
sound.
words, adorable in his baby form, and a true team player. Playing field is Thor in the eyes of the Asgardian citizen. Groot
Wow.
isn't invincible. Just
Very
because he can
fast
the same
at
weapons the Norse
going
god can.
backward and
How
forward in the
channel its
video.
raw energy, the foursome craft Thor's new killer weapon, the hammer.
That works out of the box. You know, it's kind of a mishmash of different things. While Sparky, as I'm seeing, is quite interesting, and I definitely would tell people to kick the tires of it and give it a try. Most definitely. Performance-wise, it's hard to gauge in a virtual environment. I don't find it as quick as it should be, but then again, it's running in a virtual environment. And not all Linux distributions show their true potential while running in a VM. I do run them in a VM. I've hinted at maybe running the distributions and recording the videos on real hardware, quote unquote real hardware, but that's quite a stretch for me. And time wise, it's I really don't have time. Is not something I have a lot of. I would recommend that you would kick the tires. It is Debian based, as a few others are out there, and I think it's a worthwhile thing to take a look at. Would I use this on a regular basis as my main go-to? No. I just don't find it as polished, and it would take a lot of more time. It would be pleasurable time to get it the way I like it. I do like rolling release distributions to run on my main machines. I am a Manjaro fan and everything Arch, but I have run Debian-based distributions in the past and been extremely happy with them. Solid XK, for example, or Solid YK, or however it's called. Definitely Sparky Linux is something I would take a look at. It seems the polish level is pretty good. You can be productive almost right away. Let me see something here. Except for the fact there are no Office applications installed by default. 0. But I believe installing something like LibreOffice would be very simple to do. Very simple. Let's just check it out. Should be. I kind of used LibreOffice is here. At least I'm seeing, LibreOffice, all the apps are here, and I guess there's a meta installer as well. So out of the box, it's not as ready as some of the others that I've seen. Lightweight, for example, MX Linux, fantastic distribution. I would place MX above Sparky, but that's not really taking much away from Sparky, because being Linux, you can create what you want out of the box. And in a way, Sparky is great for someone who wants to spend that time to create what they want out of the box. When you install something like MX Linux, you just want to get started. Install the thing and start running. Sparky would take a little bit longer time, but not much. Not much longer, and you could pretty much tailor it a lot more to your specifications. When I'm running a Linux distribution at home on my main machine, I like Linux distributions that start you from the ground floor, and then you have to take the elevator to every other floor. You keep adding or tweaking until you get it the way you like it. And Sparky's closer to that than, let's say, MX. But sometimes you have hardware like a laptop or something, and you just want to get it installed and be productive immediately. that's where MX would come in. That's my take on this. Um, I'm not going to talk about stability because I haven't used it long enough and it is running in a virtual environment, but I would guess that it's quite stable. In terms of performance, again, like I said before, running in a virtual environment, it's a little difficult to gauge, but I'm pretty sure that this would run stellar on older hardware. 2 gigs of RAM would be the starting point. 4 gigs would be very comfortable with Sparky if you're running occasional office apps and other stuff. So all in all, pretty interesting distribution. Still has my eye, still has my attention. Sparky Linux. Comment below. It's been a while, but I'm back. Hope to have a couple hardware videos soon. A new router. Gone through some routers and finally decided on which one I'm going to use and what firmware. So that's going to be interesting. Have a few more computer builds coming up, and you can always check us out at on our Facebook presence. I'll have the links down below. And look forward to your comments. And if you like what you see, subscribe. Thank you very much, and take care.